And where we found ourselves in a difficult position a few years ago was that it was fine to send the good cherries overseas, but what we're going to do with the mediocre cherries that were one grade below that was pretty hard. Then go back into a local wholesale market, or like a Sydney or Brisbane wholesale market, and say, well, we've sent all our good cherries to Hong Kong, but would you like 4 pallets of mediocre cherries? And that's where that was sort of a shortcoming in our business model, and hence why we really had to get the processing going so we can stay right out of the Australian wholesale markets if we choose to. So if we do send into the Australian market, they'll only be good cherries. But it's that no man's land sort of cherries that we struggled with the most, I guess.
I understood the question to be about cost and grower return. We're based in Queensland because for about 70-80% of the year, the avocados that we're using are grown, within a day's delivery of where our plant is based, which is in Bundaberg. If I look at the overall, so we are able to offer a price to the grower that's more attractive than the other channels and simpler for them. We can just take bins of fruit that's undersized and offer a ready outlet, so we can simplify their business. Yeah, in terms of the overall cost of freight, for us it's probably about 15% of our total costs, and that's freight from our point of distribution out to our customers, and we also pay for the freight from the supply point, from where it's grown to our location. Now, in that regard, Simpson Farms have been a great customer because they are our largest grower, but are also able to coordinate deliveries, from Western Australia and far north Queensland for us, because they're maintaining a year-round supply of fresh avocados. So we tapped onto the back of an existing capability. Is probably the best answer there.
Sorry, I guess I missed part of that too. So just to speak further to that, I guess it gave our packing shed an advantage over other cherry packers, and for our growers that are contracted back to the shed, that we hope to return next year in the order of about $800 to $1,000 a tonne for second grade cherries, which is really changes that dreadful matrix you get into in a wet cherry year where fruit is 15, 20, 25, 30% cracked, and you're going through the numbers, well, should I pick, should I not pick, because the cost of harvesting and the cost of packing is rising, the return is falling, it makes a huge difference to how you might assess a crop of cherries. It's 30% damage, so it's a fairly significant advantage to our packing shed over any other cherry packer, I guess.
Hi, Jo Meitman from HAL. This question was really for Craig, but I think Andrew may have an opinion as well. You said, Craig, that avocados are very versatile. I was just wondering, just in your opinion, with your experience, what you felt the market was for other fruit and vegetables and doing the same kind of thing.
Phenomenal would be the answer. I think there's the issues around perishability, keeping things fresh, and presenting products in a form, or other fruits and vegetables in a form that more helps the consumer prepare their targeted end application is a very, very large opportunity. One example I would say historically is the entire juice market. The entire orange juice market really is part of the same thinking. Which is an enormous category. So, I think you can go down all of the subtropical fruits, tropical fruits that are grown, anything that's perishable. I think you can stand back and say, how is this used? What are the issues? How can we make that more convenient? Some of them, there'll be this is clearly an opportunity. Others less so, but there's a lot of an enormous variety of fruits and vegetables that are grown, and I think there's some great opportunities in and amongst them.
Andrew, did you want to?
Oh, I guess we've looked at we've made a small commercial quantity of cherry and pomegranate this year, and we've done a small trial on cherry and apple. But it's the nemesis of all fruit growers is the out of spec fruit, and we were growing apples at Orange at 1,100 metres, and we were hit by more hailstorms than anyone around, I think. So developing homes for whole of the crop is, I guess, fundamental to the profitability of growing tree fruits in Australia, I suppose.
Hello, Will
Prakash Gorajek from Avanti Fresh Produce. We're a hard produce and avocado agent in the Melbourne markets. Craig, I was just wondering, I like the innovation of your value-added products. Do you think there'll be at all an effect on premium whole produce at all, positive or negative?
I think the short answer is no. Because I come back to the way consumers, if we look at Australian households, 62% of Australian households, according to the research that's been done, are not buying avocados weekly. It's 2 weekly or longer, and so the opportunity we're targeting AvoFreshers for is to seek to solve the problems for those folks who aren't buying regularly, so that avocados can be a part of their regular weekly diet. And most folks, across the summer, will be consuming a salad multiple times a week. Most folks will be considering avocado as a spread for sandwiches, wraps, toast, etc., as a morning option or for the kids' lunch. Many times, well, if they're not available for consideration because they haven't bought them, so I see it almost entirely an incremental growth opportunity. The other information I'd share is that if you look at the Gourmet Garden case study with herbs, 10 years ago the fresh herb industry was, I'll just give you in the last 10 years it's grown at least 5-fold, the fresh herb industry, and there's been all sorts of stuff around MasterChef and many other things that have stimulated that. And the share of that category that Gourmet Garden have held has stayed relatively constant that whole time. So fresh has grown, Gourmet Garden sat on top because it solved issues that consumers have that just weren't being met by fresh, whether they be practical or timing or... So I see AvoFresh sitting right on top and adding more volume for the growers.
Just wondered, we've got, I think, 2 retailers in the room. Jill, do you want to just comment from a retail point of view? Do you mind doing that? About the question was around what impact these value-add or unique products, how do they impact the fresh category of avocados? Would you mind stepping to the microphone and just give it, and Andrew, if you wouldn't mind commenting as well from a New Zealand perspective.
I guess probably an example of utilising 100% of the crop. In Woolworths, I don't know whether you're aware, the meat that we sell in Woolworths, a lot of it's Woolworths cattle, so we purchase the cattle and then process our own cattle. So in that situation, it's Woolworths' goal to utilise 100% of the carcass, or as much as we can. So it's exactly the same situation that we're talking about here, where Woolworths is focused on getting the best retail cuts to the customers, so that's your primary product that you've got coming out. But then what do you do with the rest of it? And in that situation, Woolworths has got 2 processing plants, one based in Brisbane, another one in Bunbury in WA, that they're focused on utilising the rest of the carcass. They've also got development staff that do that. So that's probably a model for your own businesses to look at how you can sort of develop products, use a lot of consumer research that's out there. Obviously, we've got a lot of internal intelligence within the company that we have from consumer research, but there's certainly a lot publicly available that you can use that, the public tells you what they don't want and they tell you what they do want. So use that publicly available information to start to target retail products from what's left over.
Thanks, Jill. Andrew?
Yes, sorry. My comment would be just it's important that when you're trying to utilise 100% of your crop, that you don't develop another product that competes directly against a product that you already have. And I think that these 2 examples are very good examples of where you're actually creating new users and expanding on the category. So it's important that you don't take sales off the initial, the core range within that category, and that you use these products to, as I say, to develop new users. So I think these are 2 very good examples.
Thanks for your comments. Is there any further questions? But certainly.
Yeah, John Webster from Food Bank. Look, I thought you can't miss this opportunity, and congratulations on the innovation. But every now and again, there's going to be a gap between the surplus product and the innovation. And there is one way you can do it, which is not capital intensive, Food Bank sits between hungry consumers and a wonderfully generous food industry. So if anybody does have surplus product that doesn't quite meet the market specs but it's perfect for people to eat, we've got to stand out there and we'll help move it from you as a surplus. We'll give you a tax donation receipt, and we'll actually provide it out to 2,500 welfare agencies who will feed people who actually are missing out on this nutrition. So there's another solution, not as profitable, but in the meantime, until you get the innovative solutions that have been so fantastic to see, come and have a chat to us at our stand. Thank you.
Well done, John. Now there's a man making the most of an opportunity. Well done. Hey, I know just a couple of announcements before we break this session. Obviously, lunch will be served as we speak out in the Great Hall through the where all the exhibitors are. So make use of that. Also, just a reminder that in your conference packs you would have received an exhibitor passport. So the deal with that is that you get round and visit all the exhibitors, get your passport stamped, and you drop it in a box, and of course you then go in the draw for a very wonderful prize of a Penfolds Grange Shiraz 2003, so a very worthy sort of prize, so make sure you avail yourself of that opportunity. So that just leaves us, thank you for your attendance here this morning and this early afternoon. I think both speakers have done a great job of being real people and doing real things, and thank you for sharing that with us this morning. I think just finishing on that, we've heard some things this morning around growing consumption and the great opportunity. We often look at the challenges and the barriers to growing this great industry. We certainly have a great opportunity going forward the next 24 months to boost consumption, and I think that this particular topic of utilising the crop, bringing on new users, new consumers to the marketplace, rather than where we talk about channels to market, we took channels to the stomach. And so again, with that, those closing remarks, thank you to Craig and Andrew for sharing, and we'll ask everybody to show your appreciation. Thank you.